Okay, students, yesterday we have seen how air and water transform the surface of the earth, right? In which we have seen denudation process. It is a continuous process in which four stages are there. One is weathering. What is weathering? We have seen yesterday. It is the gradual disintegration of nine, gradual disintegration of rocks by weakening and breaking. Right? It's a process in which rocks are weakened and broken. That is called weathering. The next we have also seen that erosion. It is active wearing away of the earth's surface or rocks. పంపాను ఎంత బాగా పోయిందా పెట్టండి మీరు ఆ లింక్ it is what that erosion, that is active wearing away of the earth's surface by moving agents is called erosion. It is also completed. Then the eroded particles, those are small rocks, gravel, mud, fine soil. All these are carried by wind and water, right? And that is called transportation. When the velocity of the wind and flowing of the water becomes slow, this moving water and blowing air cannot carry the material for further area. So it dumps. It dumps in the sense it leaves that debris which is carried by the wind and water. Where it is dumped, that is called deposition. In other words, it is accumulation of the material carried by river water and wind, that is called deposition. In the long run, in the long run, what happens it, this deposited material in the long run, it transforms to sedimentary rocks. When layer by layer, these eroded particles, that is debris, when it is deposited at a place, after a long time, it turns to a rock. That is to be called sedimentary rocks. Okay, this is the four. These are the four stages we find in a denudation process, right? So when question is asked about the denudation process, you should write all these definitions. Clear? Okay. Another name is for denudation process is a geomorphic cycle. What is mean by geomorphic cycle? The existing landforms on the Earth's surface are transformed by moving agents like wind and water. So that is called a geomorphic cycle. Morphology, it means the landforms are changed by the wind and water. It is called a geomorphic cycle, right? And here all these four stages, four aspects, what you call erosion, transportation, deposition, okay, work out on the rocks and the surface of the earth at a time, that is simultaneously, okay, in different parts of the world at different rates, Okay, depending on the nature of the slope, the surface of the earth is not a leveled one, it is undulating one. Somewhere we see it is low lying areas, and somewhere we see it is mountains. In another area we find plateaus, right? And the mountains, hills, where the slope of that mountains and hills is different. uh, Somewhere we find a certain strong rocks, and somewhere we see that weak rocks, right? And somewhere we see that wind blows with high velocity, with moderate velocity. So depending on the nature of the slope, that is nature of the surface, and the structure of the rocks, and the climate in that area, and the actions taken by human beings in that area, all these will decide the denudation process rate. But denudation process continues all in all the places at different rates, right? Let us see that denudation process is carried by either wind or water. These are the moving agents. Water in the sense, water in the form of river, in the form of glaciers, in the form of seawater, in different forms. There will be changing the land surface by the water. Understand? In the previous class, we have seen that they work in different ways, right? That what you call it is water and air. They work in different process, right? So here, uh, let us see the first one, how water works on the nature on the surface, on the nature of the surface. How water works on the rocks and surface of the earth and different landforms. What I want to say, that different landforms. How water works. What is its action on existing landforms, and how does it bring change in the existing landforms, that we will study now. Dear students, look at the figure 2.4. What do you see in figure 2.4? It is V-shaped valley, right? So this is a V-shaped valley is a landform formed by water in the form of river. Okay, can you recall how the course of river is? A river starts at mountain areas, it ends at seas or oceans, right? So from its beginning, that is its source, what do we call the birth or the origin of the river, is at mountains. From that area to the what to call mouth of the river, that means where river ends, that is either joining the seas or oceans, there a river ends. So from mountains to the seas, the river flows through different areas, right? When it moves from different areas, it cuts the surface of the land, and whatever the land forms comes under in its way, all those will be exposed to the denudation process, which carried by water, right? So water moves with different speed at different levels. On the mountain, areas, on the mountain areas, river flows with high speed, that what we call very swift, as it comes down, that is descending. Okay, when river water starts on the mountains and comes down to the foot of the mountains, it moves with a high velocity, right? And also its movement depends on the slope of the mountain, right? So when water is flowing from the mountain areas with high velocity, with high speed, such water have a great power, and such power exerted on the surface of the mountain when river water is flowing down, right? So the force exerted by water will cut the slope of the mountain. In the course of time, that eroded, transported area of the mountain surface will turn to a deep V-shaped valley. When water, river water, okay, that means in river water in the sense river, okay, when river moves from the mountain areas, the river water touches to the surface of the mountain on the slope of the mountain, right? So such water flowing down from the steep slope of the mountains, there it exerts a pressure. With that pressure, it cuts the mountain vertically, that is top to bottom. Understand? In that way, we see that V-shaped, as the figure 2.4 is shown, in the same manner, there valley is created. So earlier it was a mountain, a landform, and that mountain as continuously exposed to the river water flowing down. After some years, some millions of years, gradually the mountain broken into the V-shaped valleys. So existing landform mountain transformed to valley. So the shape of the landform is changed so that it is called geomorphic cycle, right? And how it is, if you're not able to understand how it is created a V-shaped valley, just you make some small dunes at your home with mud and take a bucket of water, start pouring on the top of the what you call that sand dune which you created. Okay, then you will see that the mud also along with the flowing water will move towards the down, right? Then you will see there some V-shaped valley is formed. I think you have understood, or you do it practically at home. ఒక కుప్ప తయారు చేయండి ఇంటి ముంగట. Okay, take a bucket of water and pour on it. You will see some V-shaped valley forms there, some small, right? So in that way, V-shaped valleys are formed by river, right? So river is, what is meant by river? It is water. So water works on the existing landforms in different forms. So what is the first form we are studying? Work of water. So when water works in the form of river, what are going to form? First one is V-shaped valleys are formed. Understand? What is meant by V-shaped valley? V-shaped valley is a valley which broader at the top and narrow at the bottom, right? That is called V-shaped valley. Understand? So deep valleys are developed by flowing water from the mountains and narrow at the bottom. That is to be called V-shaped valleys. V-shaped valleys are formed by flowing water. When river water flows from the mountain areas, it have great energy. It means great power is there to water moving on the mountain areas. Such a force can move very heavy and hard rocks in its way. Understand? Dear students, look at this figure 2.5. It is a Grand Canyon. It is not valley. It is bigger than the valley. Okay. I'll see the difference between valley and canyon. Okay. First, look at this figure 2.5. It is a Grand Canyon of Colorado River. Okay. It is in America. It is created by the river Colorado. It is the biggest canyon in the world. It covers 466 kilometers in length and its depth is 1.6 kilometers and the width is 188 meters to 29 kilometers. Colorado River created this. Look at the figure 2.5, my dear students. You will understand here. See how large it is. Understand? It is what to call 466 kilometers length is there and 1.6 kilometers width is there. Okay. Look at that rock color. Yesterday also I have shown this one day before yesterday. So this is a canyon. So what is the difference between canyon and valley, right? A canyon is very less in depth and broader at the top, narrow at the bottom, right? A canyon is what to call it is very large and very great depth. It have what to call wider at the top and also at the bottom. Okay, that is canyon. Understand? Next, another farm is formed by the river water on the mountain areas, that is gorges. What we call gorges. Understand? See, when river is flowing, uh, when river is flowing in its way, if it finds a very hard rock, then it goes on cutting that rock uh, vertically. Understand? And it leads to forming the steep slopes, steep sides like walls, like how our room walls are there, like that. There will be steep sides of valleys are created, which are called gorges. There is Bison Gorge in Andhra Pradesh on river Godavari. It is there, and at Kashmir we find Indus Gorge. Dear students, look 2.6 figure. This is gorge. Understand? What do you see here? Steep. This is the steep sides. Okay, right? That means at the top and at the bottom we find equal in width. Okay, whereas valleys which are broader at the top. Look at this, dear students. It is broader at the top and at the bottom it is narrow. And the shape is like V. So we call it V-shaped valleys. Whereas gorges have with steep slopes. Steep slope in the sense like walls. Okay. Steep side slopes and deep also. It's deep and at the top and at the bottom. Top at the bottom we find equal in the width. Understand? Right? This is gorge. Then what is a canyon? Canyon also have steep side slopes. Right? These also steep side slopes and maybe as deep as a gorge. Understand? But it is wider than the valley. This is a canyon, you see, very wider at the top, okay, and also at the bottom. But we do not find equal in the width at the top and bottom. Okay, a canyon is characterized by steep side slopes, and it is as deep as gorge. Okay, this is what canyon. Okay, then what is difference between canyon and gorge? A canyon is wider at the top than the bottom. That means at the bottom also we find wider. That is canyon. Then what is a valley? It is broader at the top and narrow at the bottom, right? And what is gorge? It is broader. It is equal in the width. Sorry, it is equal in width at the top. Here is at the top and at a bottom, and it is a great depth. That means gorge and canyons are with a great depth, whereas valleys are not such a depth. That is the difference between canyon, gorge, and valley. Okay, so canyons are wider at the top than the bottom. It means at the bottom also we find wider. Gorges are equal in width at the top and bottom with steep slopes. Canyons also have steep slopes, right? But it is wider at the top than the bottom. When coming to valleys, it have gentle slope, broader at the top and narrow at the bottom. That is called valleys. So at mountain areas, when river water flows, it transforms the existing landforms. So what are the new landforms created by the flowing water that is in the form of river at mountain areas, right? At mountain areas, the river water leads to forming valleys, gorges, and canyons. My dear students, keep in mind these are the what things we find by flowing river. Understand? When river water moves from the mountain areas, we find that it flows through different slopes. On the mountain areas, there will not be same length of a slope. The slope varies from one part to another part on the mountain areas. So that as a slope is abrupt, what we call it is abrupt, it is not clear, right? The slope varies. So it is called slope is abrupt on the mountain areas. Due to that, many waterfalls we find on the mountain areas, right? When water falls, when water falls from the mountain top, it digs what to call a shallow area at the foot of the water mountains that leads to forming a pool. There water is stored, okay, at the foot of the mountains or at the foot of the rocks. When water falling from a great height, such a water falling on the earth's surface will penetrate there. It makes a shallow area, a basin is created. Okay, water penetrates by force it penetrates, and such kind of water formation at the foot of the rocks is called plung pool. We call it a plung pool. So what are we studied up to now? We studied that work of water in the form of river, right? And we have seen that it is valleys are created, gorges are created, and canyons are created. And coming to in these three, gorges are very suitable for constructing the dam. Okay, dams can be constructed easily on gorges because the gorges have steep slopes, right? And it is a hard rock. Valleys cannot be used to construct dams. Instead, for constructing the dam, we need to have what you call steep slopes, right? So steep slope is found with the gorges only. So gorges are suitable for constructing the dam. Is it clear, my dear students? Next, we see. So four new landforms are created by flowing river, right? That is what we have seen: valleys, gorges, canyons, and plunged pool. These are the four created, okay, at mountain areas. When river enters into the plain, now we are to see looking forward what are the landforms going to form when river enters into plains. Okay, we know that mountains have some abrupt in their slope, but the plains are gentle surface, right? The slope is gentle. That means it is not steep slopes like on the mountains. So as the slope reduces, then the river movement also decreases. It slows down. Now, at this time, when river water velocity, water movement reduces, it cannot carry heavy particles. Heavy particles means large size of particles which are eroded by river from the mountains that cannot be carried to further places. So that is deposited, okay, on the banks or its bed in the sense at the floor. Okay, when river water is flowing at its floor, in the sense its bed, either there it is deposited or at the river bank. That means river shore. Okay, on the bank of the rivers, how the seashore is there, like that for rivers also we find embankment, that is what to call a bank of rivers, right? So on the river banks, these heavy particles are deposited as the river movement reduces, right? Sometimes when the river is flooded, when it is flooded, when rains are heavy or the water in river increases, then we call it is flooded. So when river is flooded, then water in the river increases, so that such water have a great force and cuts the soil, and when it is not in flood, it deposits that soil. Okay, it means when excessive water, large amount of water we find in river, when it is flooded, it can cut, it cuts the soil, that what we call silt. The cut of particles by flooded water is called silt. Okay, that soft fine mud which is eroded and cut off by what you call river water in the plains is called silt, and this silt can be deposited layer of a layer. Okay, layer of these sediments is deposited during each flood. That means, do we see the floods every moment? No, we find the floods when the water in the river increases, right? So in the rainy season we find water in the river increases. At that time the river exerts great force and cuts the soil, and that will be carried by the river and deposited somewhere. When floods decreases, then there won't be silt, deposition of silt. Okay, then again, when river water increases, that floods increases, there will be deposition of silt again. So alternatively we find that silt is deposited alternatively, right? When floods comes, silt is deposited. When there is no floods, then there won't be deposition of a silt. So in the course of time, we find a layer of soft mud, that what we call sediments, deposited during each flood. Whenever the floods come, then silt is deposited, what you call on the river bed. Okay, when river water excessive, then we see that that silt can be taken away. When river, what means when water force and water amount of water decreases in the river, there will be siltation in the river. So we see that layer by layer there will be deposition of sediments on the riverbed, right? After long time, what happens, we see that there will be formation of fertile flood plains. Flood plains are formed by rivers at a plain area. In the, it's not a plateaus area, it is in the plains area, it is not in the mountain areas. On the plains area, fertile flood plains are formed by the river, understand? So this is the thing, we see that vast flood plains will come for Ganga plains or Krishna Godavari plains, right? When the flood water comes again, then the river bed may have become too high as a result of the deposition. So what we see here, when silt is deposited at the bottom of the river, then the catchment area of the river, that means what, storage capacity of water in the river decreases, right? At that moment, if floods come, what do we see that the water in the river becomes excessive and hits the low lying areas, that what we call floods have heated. Okay, now, so in that way we see that deposition is formed, then it changes its course, right? See, when the bottom of the river increases by the siltation, by the deposition, then such a river changes its course. It means its direction. It forms a new path. So this is the reason we find the river constantly changes. Every time it changes its course in the plain. Okay, when river flows in the plain area, don't think that it flow with the same direction in the same way, right? How do we come to school from the same path? It will not go with the same path from the same way. Always it changes its way. Okay, why does it change its way? Because when the bed, river bed is filled with siltation, then it leads to changing its way. So, is it possible to live in the plain area nearby river? It's not, because always it changes its way and floods may come, right? So, constantly changes its way. That is what we see. First, what we have seen, when it comes to plains, there will be formation of fertile floodplains. Okay, what are the landforms formed by the river at mountain areas? Valleys, gorges, canyons, and plung pools. Right? What are the landforms formed by the river at plains area? that is fertile plains. Okay, that what we call flooded plains. Instead that we have seen first side. 5 minutes is left, I think so. Sorry, 4 minutes only left. 3 minutes, sorry, 3 minutes is left, my dear students. We will try to complete one more small part of the what you call work of water. Okay, it is Ganga plains. So then it cuts its course. Sometimes we see that in the flood plain, the river often forms meanders. What in by meanders? Look at here, students. Gentle turns like a snake. Understand? Gentle turns like a snake. Look at. I'll show you in the figure 2.8. This is called meanders. What do you see here? There is a gentle turns. Right? The gentle turns by rivers at a plain area. Where it is at a plain area is called meanders. So when river water enters into the plains, there we see that meanders are formed. Okay, due to the deposition of the silt at the bank of the river. Okay, then it turns to forming a loop. How is the loop? Look at here in the figure it is given. Oxbow Lake is given, right? Dear students, first the river is flowing in this direction. But what happened as the mud is deposited at this corner and another corner here, when it turns, when river turns to one side, we see as it is turning at that edge, it cuts that area, right? So, and the sediments carried by river also cannot turn by as the river water turns. So, those are deposited there when at the turns, and there it will be what you call it deposited gradually, and it is separated from the river, and the river course becomes like this. So the river is changing its direction, and the gentle turns which are formed here, that is turn another form. Okay, this is called oxbow lakes. We will discuss again this in the next class. Okay, I'll send you homework through what you call WhatsApp. Okay, again I'll keep homework, you write in class work. Okay, right. Thank you. Thank you very much, my dear students.